Good evening, my friends. My heart sank to my stomach when I read that 80 African Americans lose their life to abortion each week in Alabama alone. After a poll conducted on Twitter by Elon Musk asking his 80 million followers if they believe Twitter rigorously adheres to the principles of free speech, 70% said no, and you'll never guess what Elon did next. More bombshells about Hunter Biden's illegal transactions with China are about to be dropped. The question is now, will a special counsel be appointed to investigate Hunter Biden? Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. Welcome to Veracity. I am your host, Michael Lewis. Now, before we begin, I have to thank today's sponsor. Now, if you've been watching the show, you know our sponsor for today is you. And I have to say thank you for everyone who has taken their hard-earned money and contributed to the success of the show. Thank you very much. And if you want to become a member and help contribute to the show, then click the link in the description and become a member and help me on my mission to deliver truthful news. In 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court made a landmark decision in the famous Roe v. Wade case. The court said the Constitution of the United States protects a pregnant woman's right to choose for abortion without facing a restriction from the government. Now, however, the court did not realize that this landmark case had set the ground for committing genocide against black people behind their backs. If we talk about the data, you will be astonished to know that around 80 million black babies have been aborted in America so far. Black babies are 3 times to 5 times more likely to be aborted than white babies. Around 80 African American babies die every week from abortion in Alabama alone. And despite comprising 27% of the total population of the black Americans in Alabama, 60% of the abortion cases are reported from black Americans alone. All these facts have now forced Amy Beth Shaver, also known as Miss Alabama, 1994, to file a massive lawsuit in the courts of Alabama on behalf of unborn black babies. They have referred to unborn black babies as Baby Q in the suit that represents all other similar black babies in the womb across the state. Now, according to the suit, Baby Q and other similar babies of this class are intentionally being targeted and discriminated by abortion giants in the industry who are strongly in favor of the idea of eugenics, a dangerous idea developed by Sir Francis Galton, who believed in allowing only those children to be born who are in favor of the majority or of the superior class of the country. However, in the 20th century, this idea was declared unscientific and racially biased when Nazis tried to justify their brutal treatment of Jews and other minority groups. The complaint explicitly targets abortion giant Planned Parenthood, contributing massively to the evil idea of eugenics. Several leaders of the black community believe that Planned Parenthood and other similar companies have a long history of racism and support for eugenics. If we go back in history, it seems they are not wrong with their claim. It has been discovered that the founder of the Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, used to give speeches to American white supremacist group, the Ku Klux Klan, on the idea of eugenics to control the population of the people she believed was less desirable in the society. Surprisingly, in 1939, Margaret also launched a special Negro project in which they paid and trained black leaders to promote birth control and other similar measures in the black community. The situation became worse when famous gynecologist Alan Guttmacher became the president of Planned Parenthood and vice president of the American Eugenics Society. Soon the focus on abortion not only became more prominent in the organization, but also empowered Allen and his allies to convince the Supreme Court to strike down the laws of the states protecting the unborn child. This quickly allowed them to establish their clinics in communities of color across America. After diving deeply into the 2010 census data, it is surprising to notice that around 80% of its abortion clinics are located in minority neighborhoods. Although the company claims that the clinics are located in the areas where there is the greatest need, their priority seems to be none other than black Americans. If we look at their marketing strategies during Halloween, they tweeted it was safer for a black woman to have an abortion than to carry the baby to term. According to black leaders, the closest example of this is what Hitler did in Nazi Germany. Furthermore, during the Black Lives Matter movement, around 20 affiliates of Planned Parenthood across 3 to 4 states openly admitted racism within the organization. For example, Planned Parenthood of Greater New York declared that there is overwhelming evidence for Sanger's deep belief in eugenic ideology. Removing her name is an important step towards representing who we are as an organization and who we were. The leading lawyer representing this lawsuit, Sam McClure, said enough is enough. This has to stop. While filing the complaint, the leader pressed upon specific laws and amendments to stop innocent unborn babies from being targeted. At first, they brought attention to the Human Life Protection Act, which makes committing an abortion a felony punishable by life in prison. Later, reference was made to the 9th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which protects certain rights that are not coded in the Constitution, and the 10th Amendment, which reserves certain powers to the state or the people to take action in defense of the right to life. As the hearing will be held on April 20th of this month from all the parties, Colonel John Edsmo, a prominent Constitution scholar in Alabama who has worked with the Supreme Court justices, believes that no major ruling can be anticipated on the Alabama courts until U.S. Supreme Court gives his ruling on the Mississippi law that talks about banning abortion after 15 weeks. However, the Baby Q case focuses on banning aborting from the time of conception. Many leaders and experts believe that the U.S. Supreme Court is likely to rule in favor of Alabama law to protect the unborn child. This may very well be the last days of the Roe v. Wade ruling. From posting a tweet to skyrocketing the shares of a company, Elon Musk's style of posting on Twitter has become part of breaking news in the eyes of his 80.2 million followers. However, on March 25th of this year, the richest man in the world asked a simple question to his followers. Free speech is essential to functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle? He also told his followers, the consequences of this poll will be important. Please vote carefully. Surprisingly, 70% of the people voted no. After receiving a strong response from his followers the next day, he asks, given that Twitter serves as the de facto public town square, failing to adhere to free speech principles fundamentally undermines democracy. What should be done? Is a new platform needed? Soon, former CIA analyst Buck Sexton responded by saying, buy Twitter or please build one. Why build a new one when you have enough money to buy the entire Twitter platform? In other words, Mr. Musk has now become the largest shareholder of the Twitter company after buying 73.5 million shares for $2.9 billion, standing at a 9.2% stake in the company. The legal web surrounding Hunter Biden has now become stronger than ever before because Senator Chuck Grassley has revealed that more bombshell news about Hunter Biden's illegal transactions with China is coming this week. He also said that it even includes some blackmail points from China that can entrap President Biden and his son under the investigative eyes of the government. And last week, he showed a wire transfer of a massive $100,000 to Hunter Biden's firm, Owasco, from CEFC China Energy, owned by Chinese billionaire Yi Jianming, who also had strong ties with the CCP and the People's Liberation Army. Constitutional scholar Jonathan Turley has also stated that special counsel must be appointed to investigate Hunter Biden because, on the one hand, President Joe Biden is confident that his son has not done anything wrong. However, on the other hand, he took credible steps to create doubts in the mind of investigative agencies against Hunter Biden. For example, in one email, the then business partner of Hunter Biden, named Tony Belinsky, was instructed by Biden's associate, James Gillier, who said, don't mention Joe being involved. It's only when you are face to face. I know you know, but they are paranoid. The emails also referred to President Biden in code words such as the big guy receiving a 10% cut on a deal with a Chinese energy firm. Not to forget, after considering information in Hunter Biden's laptop as part of the Russian disinformation system for 1.5 years, the Washington Post and CNN have now joined the New York Times to finally admit that Hunter Biden's laptop consists of authentic information about him making money through the channels of his father. However, White House Communications Director Kate Bedingfield revealed that President Joe Biden stood by his prior statement that his son had done nothing unethical and had not made any money regarding China. Former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin was endorsed by former President Trump a few days after declaring her candidacy for Congress after the passing of Congressman Don Young. Young, a Republican who held Alaska's only seat in the House of Representatives for decades, died at the age of 88 on March 18th. Trump said on Sunday that Sarah Palin is tough and smart and will never back down. I am proud to give her my complete and total endorsement and encourage all Republicans to unite behind this wonderful person and her campaign to put America first. Trump continued saying, Sarah shocked many when she endorsed me very early in 2016. We won big, the former president added. Now it's my turn. Palin expressed gratitude for the comments on social media, saying she felt honored because of Young's passing. A special election will be needed to fill the vacancy. On June 11th, an all-party primary will be conducted with the top 4 vote-getters advancing to the August 16th special general election. Republican state legislator John Coghill and Josh Ravik, Democrat State Assemblyman Christopher Constant, and Al Gross, the Democratic candidate for the seat in 2020, are some of the more than 50 people who've already announced their bids. That's nice for Sarah, Nick Begich, one of the candidates, said about Trump's endorsement in an email. Our campaign is excited about all the endorsements we have been receiving from respected Alaskans from across the state who are going to be the ones actually voting in and deciding this election. I think most Alaskans remember her as someone who quit Alaska while she was governor. Why should we trust her not to quit Alaska now? This isn't a reality TV, and this is real life. Gross added, this race is about Alaska. My opponent is getting a lot of support from outside while I'm taking my message right to Alaskans. I am focused on earning the support of Alaskans in this race. Whoever wins this special election will only serve until January 2023 unless they win the regular election in November, as members of the House of Representatives face re-election every 2 years. After weeks of intense examination and a stalemate committee vote along party lines, a procedural vote late on April 4th cleared the way for the confirmation of Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson. Jackson will be the first black woman to serve on the Supreme Court if she is confirmed. In addition to the 50 Democratic senators, Republican Senators Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Mitt Romney of Utah also voted in favor of the procedural motion. The Senate Judiciary Committee had been deadlocked on a party line vote of 11-11 on April 4th, prompting the extra procedural step. Republicans have highlighted that Jackson's sentence judgments fell below mandatory sentencing benchmarks in every trial where she was not compelled by minimum sentencing laws. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Senator Dick Durbin has slammed the GOP accusations as demagogic. It was unfortunate that some moments in the hearings came to that, Durbin said on April 4th. This action today is nothing less than making history. I'm proud to be part of it. Judge Jackson is poised now to make American history. Senator John Ossoff also said later in the hearing, expressing a sentiment shared by Democrats during the final committee hearing. Senator Chuck Grassley said, Jackson's record is unfortunately incomplete. That's because information has been withheld, he said, citing a laundry list of non-public documents from Jackson's time in the U.S. Sentencing Commission, 48,000 pages of documents held back by the Obama White House, and many others. It appears the White House wants to hide Jackson's record. So with so much information withheld, we've examined her record, and there were a lot of questions about Judge Jackson's judicial philosophy. But what gave us a clear impression of Judge Jackson in this confirmation hearing was the controversial exchange between her and Senator Marsha Blackburn. Blackburn asked Jackson to define the word woman, but she refused, saying she was not a biologist. Regarding this answer, Blackburn said it speaks volumes and shows that Jackson is beholden to the radical left. And that's it for today, my friends. Don't forget to like and share, and most importantly, join our member site and support the mission to deliver truthful information. I'd rather depend on the generosity of you, people I can trust, than ever be dependent on YouTube again. I'd like to thank you all for spending time with me, and I'll see you next time.